I never thought I would be a sourdough baker. I actually really didn't want to because it just seemed like it took so much time and so much effort and energy and focus, and I just didn't think that I had that space mentally or even in our schedule. And this is how I found the time. But even better than that, why I found the time. When our friend would bring her baskets of bread to our house when we'd be hosting our community dinners, I saw how people gathered around it. And I had always loved baking. We loved being in the garden. We loved sharing our space and inviting people to our table. But there is something different about a basket of fresh bread. And so I found a way to make sourdough fit and layer into our life. So that's my first tip for you, is I want you to think about the things that you already do. Maybe you go on a morning walk, or you always have a cup of coffee and read a little bit in the morning, or you fill in the blank. What do you do with that morning time? I already spend quite a bit of time in our kitchen, baking and prepping, and it's a part of our life, but it's also part of our business. And so I started thinking about all the time I was in the kitchen anyways. And even if you don't have a business that calls you into your kitchen, I know you're in your kitchen, at least in the morning and at night when you are doing breakfast and dinner. And those are great times to add in just one part of the sourdough puzzle. So down in the description below, I put my full schedule of how I layer our sourdough baking over top our everyday life, gardening, working, family life, all of it. But here's the other piece, is I only make one big batch of dough once every 2 weeks. And then I pull chunks of that dough off whenever we want to bake something. So I'm not mixing up new dough every other day. The dough is all ready to go and it's in the fridge. And I'll put the link to the video below on how we do that. It's so much easier if you just put all of that work into one day so that you can bake fresh pizza and go sit in your backyard and not be a slave to the kitchen, because you can fill your table with goodness and joy and fresh bread and beauty and gather your people without having to be stuck in the kitchen all day long. And I think that's why I didn't want to do sourdough baking. I thought it was going to tether me to the kitchen even more. And if you've hung out with us at all here, you know we love being in the garden. Love it as much as we love filling our table and baking. And so that was another thing that I thought, oh, I can actually be out in the garden planting or figuring something out or weeding, and then pop back into the kitchen and get our pizza prepped because the dough was all sitting in the fridge ready to go. So make a big batch. Don't make it hard on yourself. Let's make it even easier. Make that big batch of dough, top that pizza, head back out to the garden or back to answering emails or back to reading with your kids or back to whatever it is that fills your life. And that dough, it's just going to sit there waiting for you. That is part of the magic of sourdough. It is truly a miracle that the bacteria in the sourdough does all the work for you. You don't have to do all the work. So come hang out with us more. Bake with us. I know that if I could find a way to layer sourdough over the top of all the things we love to do in life, you can too. And my goal is to help you make it so easy and fun that it feels like a fun part of the day that you're all, ooh, I get to go stretch and fold. I get to go feed my sourdough starter. And then we get to bake together and fill our table. And that's my biggest why. Why do we do all of it? So that we can bring those baskets of bread to the table. So we can fill our table with joy. And we're so glad that you're here with us. This is real life. This is life with us here at Cider Press Lane, and we love bringing you along for all of it, whether we're baking or in the garden, having dinner in the orchard. We just are so glad you're here at the table with us.